Game journalists continue to be hypocrites because, as we all know, they're not actually gamers. They care more about the activism than anything else. And the same ones who have been attacking Eve from Stellar Blade are now praising Aphrodite's interpretation in Hades 2, where she is completely nude. Yeah. But they were offended about Stellar Blade, but they praised this. The hypocrisy. Unreal. Okay, so this comes to us from Bounding Into Comics. Hypocrisy at its finest. After years of complaining about sexy female characters, Western video game industry publicly thirsts over a cast of Hades 2. That's another weird thing. They're going on about this fat one. I don't even remember. Ew, which one is the fat one? I don't know. But anyway, like, to me, it's not even about sexy, sexualized, this, that, and the other. Y'all know I'm a Christian, so I don't need smut in video games. I don't want smut in video games, but I do like characters to be attractive. I like, and for a character to be attractive, they really need to look like their gender. A real gender, not talking about all of this fake made up stuff that's current in modern day, but the women need to be feminine looking and look like women, and the men need to look like men, and so on and so forth. I really like an idealistic interpretation with art styles. There's always room for more realistic stuff, and there's even room for characters who aren't super attractive, given whatever the story is. But what we've seen in modern day, and as you've seen me make a lot of videos about, the gaming industry has been hell-bent on defeminizing female characters just pretty much across the board, and we're seeing a lot of that happen with existing characters that are made to be less feminine than what they originally were created to be, and made more androgynous. So this has been an ongoing problem. But in this case, because I guess Hades is more of a queer game, if you will, they're okay with that. And this just really shows what the agenda is all about. Because these journalists, these people who stand against your 2Bs here, or your Eve here from Stellar Blade, which, come on now, if you're really going to compare this to this is so much more tame. She wears a bodysuit. There is one that does appear to be more nude. It's flesh toned, one that you can unlock and wear or whatever. But regardless, this is not gratuitous. I don't consider this gratuitous at all. I think it's cute. I think it's pretty. I think they did a good job with at least the default costume of looking, okay, hey, she's beautiful. And this is really showing her feminine form, but it doesn't look smutty to me. So that's my take on that. But it just really shows that what they don't like is they don't want a man to look at the character and feel like she's attractive. They constantly are pushing against the male gaze, as they say. In other words, they don't like the heterosexual design that God created, right? So, oh no, that's a bad thing. But if they have something queer, a game where, okay, here's queer characters, here's something that goes against God's design, goes against the Bible and all that, oh, they're all for it. They love that. So they want to pretend that it's all about, oh no, we just care about women, we want people to respect women, this, that, and the other. No, it's not. It's about their degeneracy. I'll be the first to say, in terms of pornography, I don't agree with it. I think pornography, I don't care what brand of pornography it is, it's degenerate. But making a character beautiful in a video game is not that. So let's go ahead and read this and dive deeper into what's going on here. In a textbook example of the idiom, rules for thee, not for me, after years of chastising and decrying the general video game playing populace for enjoying attractive female character designs, the Western video game has responded to the recent reveal of Hades 2's new character designs by publicly and proudly proclaiming just how much they'd like to sleep with each and every one of them, which is so... That's another thing is, dude, I I love attractive characters. I will talk about them. I'm a big Jujutsu Kaisen fan. A lot of us female anime watchers like Jujutsu Kaisen because there are multiple attractive male characters in there that really work for the female gaze, right? The women are attracted to them because they fight, they're attractive, they're masculine, all that sort of stuff. They're strong. They embody the elements that make women attracted to men. But even so, even if I'm just like going on about a character being attracted to a character, ooh, look at Toji or whatever it may be, the last thing I'm gonna do is be all degen about it. Like, I just think that there's a line. I think that there's a point where it's creepy. It's just weird. Oh man, I want to sleep with all these characters. Like, bro. I will admire a character's attractiveness, but I am not going to be posting on, oh, I just want to sleep with this drawing. No. The only person I want relations with is my future husband, if that happens in the confines of marriage. So anyway, so they got all degen about it and they want to pretend like, oh, we're above degeneracy. No, you're not. These people are the ones drawing these weird furry crap. Like, not even all furries. Like, some furries are, I've seen some furries who are kind of base, but I mean, they're the ones drawing the degen stuff. Like, the shipping these queer characters and drawing the nasty Rule 34 stuff with it. I'm not that I'm for furries by any means. I do think there are some people in the furry community who just like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong if I have any furries in chat, who don't look at it as a sexual thing. They just like to draw anthropomorphic animals. I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive here. Anyway, let me know. All right, let's continue. The designs in question were first unveiled on April 17th, courtesy of a 3-hour live stream of the game hosted by its developer, Supergiant Games. Therein, not only were players given their first look at the updated appearances of a handful of the Greek gods who are set to return from the first game, Demeter, Artemis, Selene, and Aphrodite, but were also introduced to newcomer Hephaestus, this incarnation portraying the mythical blacksmith as a portly and wheelchair-bound amputee. This is a mythical god, right? And he's an amputee and he's fat. I just, you kind of lose me with that. It's making me think less of him actually being some sort of deity if he's wheelchair bound. I just can't. I mean, this is something that normal people sometimes, under unfortunate circumstances, have to endure. But a deity? Okay. Is there going to be a deity that's got a gluten intolerance? Where's a deity that represents me and having endometriosis? This is just retarded. All right, and despite having spent the past few weeks accusing anyone who dared to enjoy the attractive design of Stellar Blade protagonist Eve of being everything from incels to pornography addicts, near immediately after Hades 2 made its character reveals, members of the wider video game industry in particular, and unsurprisingly, video game journalists, of course, took to the internet to celebrate just how sexy the aforementioned Greek gods. It is very funny that there are chuds out there being like, the woke gaming journalists hate sexy women. Meanwhile, my entire timeline is hooting and hollering about these Hades 2 character portraits, proclaimed Lex Luddy, the editor-in-chief of the video game news site Start Menu. Okay, then, well, what's your explanation for why you have such a problem with Eve from Stellar Blade then? But you're fine with this? It's because of this queer ideology it's because you want to push degeneracy and queer ideology. That's it. This has nothing to do with anything else but that. How did they make them even hotter? Replied Games Radar and games industry contributor Alicia Haddock. They must be stopped. Likewise, The Last of Us 2 senior technical gameplay animator Maybe Rains exclaimed, they made them hotter. Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercanti, who is obsessed with me, who readers may know for having authored the site's now notorious defense of Sweet Baby Inc., took particular interest in Aphrodite, retweeting her design and questioning, "Mommy, sorry." Of course, it's all about being queer. That's all it is to them. It's all about being queer. It's degeneracy. Retweeting Mercanti's post, PC Gamer contributor Dominic Terrason mocked Gamergaters. The wokes are stealing the sexy from games. Hades 2, yes, our game is the most inclusive, progressive take on Greek myth ever written, and also the maximum hornt. Typo. I don't know, but you can possibly get while still somehow squeaking in with a T rating. Why are they bragging about the game being horned? But then they say people are degenerates for liking Eve from Stellar Blade, who has more class than this, who looks cute, pretty, and has clothes on. But this, it doesn't make any sense. What is it? Again, it all boils down. It's all about pushing queer ideology. And I've said this time and time again. I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. But I do think that the enemy, so I think the gaming industry and all that is infiltrated by Satan, just like Hollywood is, just like the mainstream music industry is, all that kind of stuff. It's demonic. And something can only get so popular before Satan has his hands in it. Right now, Satan is running the world until Jesus Christ returns. So, I mean, he wants to degrade it. He wants to degenerize it as much. I don't know if degenerize is a word, but you get what I mean. As much as possible, right? But his time's short. So yeah, it's about, right now what we're seeing in the gaming industry is all this queer ideology being forced, this transgender ideology, all of this stuff. And there's a reason. There is a reason. Because when it comes to all of that, it's not good for people. It's not healthy. It completely counters, and woke ideology as a whole completely counters the Bible. It completely counters God's design and God's plan. And the reason why it exists is because of Satan just trying to ruin everything and take as many people down with him as possible. All right, so let's continue. Taking note of the fact that this outpouring of safe horned rhetoric was coming from the same industry that almost universally spent the last few years condemning them from similar behavior toward characters, such as Nier Automata's 2B, Bayonetta's title protagonist, and most recently Stellar Blade's Eve. Players eventually took to directly calling out those thirsting over the cast of Hades 2 for the sheer hypocrisy of their what you like bad, what I like good outlook towards their media consumption. Now, that's another thing with Bayonetta as well. And even with 2B, because like they were all against 2B back in the day. And then now they want to pretend like, oh, wait, no, 2B's fine because she reflects cosplayers. They always backtrack. They always move the goalpost. And even with Bayonetta, they were so against Bayonetta back in the day. But then they loved her and wanted to claim her as their own. Oh, yes, she's so queer. Yes, she's a queer icon. This, that, and the other. They wanted to steal the character for themselves. And they were extremely upset when she got married to a man. So that's the nature of things. In turn, rather than admitting to the glaringly obvious hypocrisy of their stance on sexy characters, or at least to having a bias towards conventionally attractive characters, the industry instead took to making justifications for their double standards. Pinning a piece headlined, Hades 2 is the kind of hot we need right now. Oh my gosh, that's cringe. For Kotaku, the aforementioned Mercanti argues, Hades' characters' sexiness is woven into their personalities as much a part of them as their wants, needs, and emotions, and their bodies, however scantily clad or salacious, are not in motion. They cannot be manipulated or posed or peered at from different angles. Oh my gosh, the reach, the goalpost. What a joke. Instead, it's like you're looking at statues or paintings of these gods in their eternal, infinite sexiness. She further attempted to defend her and her ideological allies' actions. There is desire here, sure, but there is also power and reclamation. There is longing because you only get a tiny little taste of their beauty. The concept of look but don't touch is incredibly sexy. It's part of why strip clubs, many of which have strict rules on touching performers, are so lucrative. Dude, strip clubs are degenerate too. Like, bro. See, this is the thing. This person saying this is somebody who had an OF, and I don't know what her pictures looked like, but just saying, this is somebody who sells her body for $5. All right. So I don't know the amount. I don't know what the extent of it is, but I'm just saying, I can't take something seriously from an online prostitute. Like, it's just what it is. And people might think it's mean, but why would I mince words? Why would I put this lighter than what it is? This is a prostitute. This is a prostitute saying this. So are we going to take advice and we're going to take seriously on this subject about attractive video game characters and where the line is crossed or not from a literal prostitute? You know, this isn't someone who's just a former prostitute, changed her ways, found redemption. This is a prostitute. I can't take that seriously. Offering a similar refrain on Twitter, Games Radar staff writer Jasmine Gould Wilson retweeted a post from fellow user Veed's tweets claiming that Aphrodite knows she's hot. You can tell by how she looks at you. Eve doesn't. Oh, so because Eve is more humble, which by the way, she looks pretty confident in this stance to me, but because Eve isn't arrogant and because Eve has a little more humility to her, that's a problem. She's posed but expressionless. That's expressionless to you? Hades, too, has a wide range of character skin tones. Why? Also, Eve isn't even white. You guys people who hate on white people so much, she ain't even white, bro. Not that it even matters. What does this have to do with anything? When we're on the topic of, sexualizing a character and what is too far and what isn't, what the freaking ever living crap does the skin tone have to do with it? Stellar Blade's women seem to only look like Eve. No, they don't. And talk about different body types, dude. That girl with the pixie cut, she has a very petite, small, like not as curvy body type. And then you have Eve here with a very curvy body type. I mean, and that's the thing that I was saying too about this before on podcasts and stuff. Is like, it was on the Quarter Rings podcast. People usually when they're hating on stuff like this is because, it's just unrealistic, unhealthy expectations. Usually it's against, where's her organs, that crowd, because, no one can be that skinny, it's unhealthy. Eve is a very healthy weight. She's got full thighs, full butt. Like, she is filled out. She is definitely not an unhealthy standard. I mean, she's stylized, so like her legs are a lot longer than what most women would look like, but that's not a problem. It's art. Art isn't supposed to be, doesn't have to be realistic. But at any case, this isn't even pushing some unhealthy standard. She's a healthy looking woman. But there are different body types. Clearly, they just don't have eyes, obviously. All right. Sexy isn't bad. Pretending there's only one type is. They don't. Are you blind? And added, camera angles say it all. Camera angles say it all. Aphrodite is shown from a low angle. She has oh my gosh. The brain rot is real. The camera angle. Oh, because the camera angle is low. Well, if it wasn't, they would be okay with it. They're freaking, they just like it because it's a queer game. If there was some queer game where you're playing as a complete butt naked character and the camera is all over the place and they're jiggling everywhere, a girl with a a girl with the wiener flopping all over the place, they would be loving it. What about all of their, that horned game, Baldur's Gate 3? Where are they crying about that? You didn't have no angle from low angle. Okay. Eve stares blankly at you head on when you're not sitting right behind her spandex covered booty, observing her from above because you have oh my gosh, the idiocy. The reach. These aren't gamers. These can't be gamers. If you want to look at a picture book, go ahead and look at a picture book. But if you want to play a video game, maybe try playing an actual video game, because this is absurd. And you know what's hilarious about this is Hades is a top-down game. If you actually play the game, it's a top-down game. All right? So is it because the main character is a male that it's not degrading that you're playing from a top-down camera angle? You know, maybe you just take a second to look at the game you were literally talking about before you start talking about camera angles that game uses. The grain brain. I swear, the grain brain. Anyway. Gosh, this is just mind-blowing. Yeah, anyway, there you have it for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Also, tomorrow, I really want to launch my Go Boom live streams here. So it's going to be the first one. It could be interesting. We'll see how it goes. But I hope to see you on Wednesday evenings, nights here on my channel for that. And also, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible reading channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom. Miles Morales.